So when you look at the daily life, when you go back here to talk to the practitioner, you talk to a minister, you do your prayer work or meditations at home, part of it is I am responsible for me and my state of being. I am responsible for my current state of wholeness. I am responsible for my world. It's nobody else's fault. And this gives you the freedom now when you get this embodied and have it strong for you to make changes. I don't have to be unhappy anymore if I don't want to be unhappy. I can choose to have fun. I can choose to have what I want in my life. I can choose to have friends and go places and all of this. And if I'm not choosing this, that's where you focus. If I'm not choosing that and I have tools and I have knowledge of how to do it, why am I choosing not to do it? I saw a lady, I was actually in my mom's class, and this lady got up and walked out, and as she got to the door, she said, I didn't sign up to work this hard. And she went out. And it is work, having to undo what we've done for, well, 40, 50, 60 years. No kids, right? So we have to look at all of that. All of those choices that I made this lifetime and other lifetimes, whatever your belief is, got me to this point in time. I am the embodiment of all of that. I am the accretion of all of that. And I have to accept responsibility for it. And that was the biggest thing I learned. I had the terrible life like everybody else. I had the childhood from hell, the marriage from hell, the addiction from hell. I got A's in all of that. And when I hit about 50, I remember thinking, we're living to 100. I cannot do another 50 years the way the first 50 were. And I don't care what it is, but I'm not coming back to do it over either. And if I go through this life low crawling and whining, I'm going to do it because I'm not doing any of it over. I'm surprised I survived it the first time. I can't imagine probably the second time. But those things, when I look back, is the wisdom that we get as we go through this. The wisdom to know that it is worth it. That healing, while it's hard sometimes and painful because we have to be honest with ourselves, we have to accept a responsibility for what we did or didn't do. And sometimes the shame is so intense, it takes you a long time. I've shared before, I knew a girl that had an addiction, and there was one thing she couldn't tell anybody. She got on a plane, flew to LA, got a taxi driver, got out, blurted it all out, said, take me back to the airport, flew back home. And that got past the shame of anybody knowing what she had done, whatever it was. I still don't know to this day what it was. But for her, it worked. So there are ways to help work through these things. And I think one of the most important things when we learn about this balance of the masculine and the feminine, that if you're working on an issue when you're in one or the other, it's okay to reach out and let somebody else help you. Because sometimes you need that energy connection that the other people bring. Their love, their understanding, their compassion. If you're hurting and in pain, you don't need somebody to tell you you screwed up. You don't need somebody to say, why didn't you do this? You don't need any of that. But you need the feminine principle. You need the nurturing. You need the love, the compassion, the thinking. So it's not a bad thing to reach out and let people know. Because what you find out, the person that you're comfortable talking to probably had similar experiences. And when you're through, you're both crying and everybody's sharing and everybody's healing together. That's one of the importance of our spiritual family. We come here to find this wholeness for what we are. And each of us are part of that. And that's because we bring the feminine principle, we bring the masculine principle. And somehow when we're together, that's all in balance. We couldn't have the beauty that we have, the fun we have, the laughter that we have, the camaraderie, to be able to be honest and sharing about what's going on in our lives if we didn't do this. And we can make it fun. It doesn't always have to be work. We'll have the work days, the days when you want to cry, when it's hard. You need to sleep it off. There's some depression. We have ups and downs like anybody else. But it's worth it. When I look back on my life, I am so honored to have had it because I wouldn't be what I am today without it. And it took me a lot of years to get to that, and it took me till after Mom and Dad were gone to get to that. But it came at its divine timing. It came when my wholeness would accept it. It came when I had evolved to the consciousness that I could accept it. No more poor me's. No more. I don't even go back to wish it could have been different. I did that for a while. There was some sadness. I wish that relationship had worked out. I wish I'd known more. I wish, you know, things in childhood had happened differently. But that doesn't get me anywhere. All that does is takes me out of my now. Takes me out of appreciating what I have now. So eventually I let go of the sadness. And as much as I hate hearing it, it is what it is. And whatever it is something that I was responsible for. I'm taking responsibility for it. I'm healing it. And my wholeness is better than what it was. It's more whole. When I think of whole, whatever that's going to be, I feel more complete. So I feel closer in an expanded way to Source, because the more I can let go of the garbage, the more I'm coming back to my divine blueprint. And the more I'm coming back to what Source wanted me to be, and living my divine inheritance, my divine birthright, the closer I am to abundance. So when you're thinking about all these sermons this month and what people are saying, think about how you can use that. How can you take it home and incorporate it to help make your world a better place, our whole world a better place, and become a larger play, maybe. Thank you.